international community genuinely concerned for civilians should be
And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. She was going to show here in Yerushalayim.
ZOOMSHTEIG.
Machst du Eid? Was machst du Eid? What is going on? We are on. Oh, we don't have any stuff on the table, and now I can't prop the Eid.
You can create, like, really, you know
What?
funny stuff.
What's up, DVJ? How are you?
How you doing?
Chilling, steiging. Oh, my dad is here.
Oh,
Welcome, Avi Mighty.
Shalom Aleichem.
Maybe we'll have a crossover and we'll see it in person. The old crossover. All right. So we got to Ahmed Bays yesterday. And we said, Masha before assur v'ashar mutter. What's in the hole is assur. The wine that's in the hole is assur. Oh, Zig, Shalom Aleichem.
Rev Yid, how are you?
Rev Yid, who's mach? We're just out here on Daf Nu Ahmed Bays, Nun Vav. And the Gemara is about to quote the Mishnah, and it says that the wine that trickled into the hole is assur, but the wine that, because of Yayin Nesech, if it's touched by a guy, but Ashar mutter, but the rest of the wine that's still hasn't trickled down yet, so it's mutter according to the Tana in our Mishnah. Now remember, we saw yesterday that there are two opinions, whether our Mishnah is three opinions in our Mishnah or two opinions in our Mishnah. Okay. So the stuff, the wine that hasn't trickled down yet, according to our Mishnah, is mutter. But the wine, meaning it's mutter, if it's touched by a non-Jew, it's still not yayin nesach. It's not assur wine because it didn't finish becoming wine. Because according to the teacher of our Mishnah, it is only completed in its becoming wine when it goes into the bore. So comes Rav Huna, who we saw yesterday and 2 days ago, that Rav Huna was like, no, the wine, the second it starts trickling down, the wine is us. So we called it trickle down tumonomics. And Schlig said trickle down spritzonomics. Oh, it was DVJ, I mean, not Schlig's. DVJ said, it's my joke. Sorry, I meant DVJ. Speaking of Schlig's, where is the yid?
I'm gonna reach out.
Look what we got in person today. Huge fuzz.
Who is
So my tati.
Oh, he's in town. I got it.
He's
Okay.
in town doing important things for Am Yisrael.
I'm Maine.
All right. So here, Dad takes Nun Vav Amvez. So Rav Huna says, Lo Shanu, that we didn't learn this ruling of the Mishnah. Remember, Rav Huna is an Amira, and he said an opinion that seemed to have been completely different from our Mishnah. He says it's by the trickle down. So he has to explain our Mishnah that's talking about something else, or he says, I'm talking like a different Tanaic opinion, or he says, no, I'm understanding the Mishnah like saying what I was saying. And so he's going to have to go like this, like we saw him doing it. So he's saying, Lo Shanu, we didn't learn that Mishnah that the stuff that's still in the wine press that hasn't trickled down into the pit, into the collection pit, that stuff is mutter. That's only Ella Shelo Hichzir Gargonti, that it didn't return the Gargonti legat to the wine press. Aval Hichzir Gargonti legat, if he returns the Gargonti to the God, then it's assur. So as the Gemara, Gargonti Gufa b'maika mitzvah. The Gargonti, which we didn't see what it means yet. We're gonna check Rashi, and if Rashi doesn't give it to us, we're at the home base, so we can just go get Yastrov. That's how they say it in Hebrew. Sounds Russian, Yastrov, a Chastro. Probably is a Russian name, but when you say Yastrov, it sounds very Russian. Okay. So the Gargonti itself, what makes it assur? Says the Gemara, bin natzai. We have to see what that natzok is also. Shema mina, natzok chibur. So we see from there that when it says natzok, whatever the natzok is, it connects the wine. Keditani Rabbi Chia, like Rabbi Chia taught in a brisa. Shepach saso lochiso. Something happened to the flask, the Bunsen boina. Alganami shepach saso boro, that like it broke. Okay, and we got to a dot, and now we're gonna see the Rashi. Okay, so first it says Gargonti. So Rav Huna says this, that is talking about that the wine that's still in the got, that's still in the wine press, that hasn't trickled down to the hole, and we say that is mutter until it goes into the hole. That's only talking about in Gargonti. Says Rashi, who sal gadol shekashor b'tzinor. So it's like a big bucket, or right? It's a big basket that is attached to a tube. And so the wine goes from the tube into this gargosni. And from in there, it goes into the hole, into the big hole. So they do that to filter the wine from pits, from skins and some skins and twigs or stems. Pick out the skins and stems. Feeling drunk as heck. Flying through Quebec. Sipping on Tommy wine. So he says, that's only if it didn't come back. It dripped into that basket, but it didn't come back. So what is he talking about? I don't know. So but if it was Yichzir Gargonti to the God, if it went back, if the bucket went back into the wine press, it would be assur. So assur avma shebegat, even it assurs what is in the gat, what is in the wine press. Usually, well, didn't Rav Huna say that it's talking about trickle? Maybe he's saying according to this opinion, even according to the opinion that Rav Huna does not agree with, it's still the only way that the gat is permissible is if the wine didn't go into the bucket and then back into the wine press. But if it did, so then it assurs even what is in the wine press itself. As the Gemara, Gargonti Guva Maika Mitzvah, the Gargonti itself, why did it become assur? I thought it only becomes assur, according to the guy in our Mishnah, when the wine goes into the pit. So why are you telling me now that the Gargonti itself, the Gargonti spills back into the wine press, and so then it assurs the entire wine press? What makes the bucket itself assur? This has been nutzok. Says Rashi, Kilua chayored mi Gargonti lebor. Umechaber Gargonti liyayin nezef shebebor. Unbelievable. Okay. Hold on. Rivka, do we have one of those pens or markers? I want to draw a diagram. Let me try to draw it until we get that. Let me draw the diagram on a piece of paper. Oh, we have it. Okay, we got this. Rivka, you want to point this at me? You want to point this at me so I can draw? I want purple because we're doing the wine. Here, you point the cam at the board. Thank you, dear. Okay, so we have. Actually, you know what? I'll do it in black. So we have the wine press, right? This is the wine press. This is the bore, right? And then there's wine like over here, just like a little bit of wine over here. And then, and then there's the wine in the bore. This wine is assur. Dad, you like this? Are you finding it there? Okay. This wine is assur. This is yayin nesach, right? This is yayin nesach. But this wine, right? So exit out. This wine is mutter, right? It didn't finish its malacha yet, right? So then the Gemara says,
Aren't they connected?
No, so they're not connected actually, because there is like a bucket over here with holes in the bottom, and the wine goes into this bucket and drips down, right?
Yeah.
So Rav Huna says the only time that this is mutter and this is assur is if this hasn't went back into the gat, right? This is the gat, this is the boar, and this is the gargonti or whatever, gargosni. That's the garg. We'll just call it the garg, right?
Can you
Yes.
pull the board out so we can see it?
Okay.
There's just a lot of shadows.
So Rav Huna says that only when this thing returns into the gat, it's closed there to the gat, does the entire gat become assur. It's only mutter if this thing has not yet returned into the gat. So the Gemara is going to say, well, how does the gargosni, this thing, what makes that assur? So the Gemara says the natzok. What is the natzok? That's the part that spills down. This spilling down over here is the natzok, right? Natzok is the spill down. So it's saying that when it spills down, it actually combines to the yayin nezek and it makes the gargonti itself assur. And if the gargonti spills back somehow into the regular winepress, into the gat, so then it makes the entire gat assur. And this is the picture. It kind of looks like a crystal meth pipe, but but it's not. It's a wine press. Which jug is worse for you? I don't know. But okay, more day. Okay, God, grab it soon. Yo, DVJ, you chap? You like the
Yes,
picture?
yes. Sorry.
That's okay. Shkaya, grab it in. Couldn't have done it without you. All right. So says the Gemara, Shema Mina, we can infer from here that the natzok is mechaber, l'kama v'asocher as a poel. In the next chapter, they're actually going to argue about this natzok. So don't forget about the nutsack. I mean natzok. DVJ, that was for you. DVJ's like, yo, your picture taka looks a stickle like a nutzok.
Sky. I didn't say
Sky.
anything. I'm on my best behavior, but I was
No, you're
thinking
doing
it to be. I was
Really?
thinking about it.
You're thinking about the nutsack tushtel, replete with a picture. So we see that the nutzok is mechaber. The nutzok, it connects. Like Rav Chia says that shepichasaso tzluchisav. Says Rashi, they talk about that in the future. Shepichasaso, that it broke its slochis, and that's a different sugya. But here too, that it broke the bore. What does Rashi say? Oh, that actually it's in this malaya bore, not that it gets full, the flask, whatever the sugya over there that he's talking about in Ayin Gimel on Beis. I'm based on base. We'll get there hopefully maybe within the month. Yeah, listen, if we keep on steiging at the rate, this is 24 shiurim in a row. The Eibush should give us siyat d'shmaya. So the bore is filled up. Ad she'egia yayin v'tevach b'shulei garganosi. So it like touches tafach, or it reaches the rim of the garganosi, and then it comes back into the actual gat. Yeah.
Here we're talking about it's tummy because it's considered yayin because there's yayin nesach in the pit, right?
So yeah, when we say that there's yayin nesach, it means that if a guy touches it, it is now eligible to become yayin nesach.
Because we don't know whether or not what purpose he was doing it for.
Right. Well, we're saying, listen, this wine, even if let's say a guy steps on the wine, he's the stepper. So it's yayin nesach the second it touches the guy's foot. Says no, it's not, because it's not. It hasn't completed its malacha to become complete. It's not really a shame yayin yet. It's not really called wine yet. Only when it gets to the bore, right? Only when it gets into this thing. But if it gets so full, right, and it starts like pouring back into the gut, so then even the wine that's in the gut, even the wine that's in this part would be assur. If this little thing,
Right, because then
this
it's
little-
mixed.
so right, and so once it has a little bit of that, so then the wine that's in the gut, which really usually we would say is not eligible to become yayin nezech, if a guy comes and puts his finger in it, it would be fine, but not if there's spillover back from the hole into the wine press.
Got it.
Okay, that's the dot. That's the Rashi's shkayach to the Ilam. The Gemara is gonna now tell a story. Hahu Yenuka did Tana Avodas Gochavim B'Shitshni Bo Minei Ma'ulidroch Ima Oved Gochavim. Okay, so there was a little kid, right? And this little kid was teaching Avodah Zarah for 6 years, or maybe he was learning Avodah Zarah. He was just steiging the second Avodah Zarah for 6 years. Yeshiva's Gula Shal has been learning this Masechta for a little bit over a year. But not 6 years. But this guy was learning for 6 years, so they asked the kid. They said, Ma'ulidroch ima oved gochavim begas. They say, what's the din to step with an idolater in the wine press? Amar lahu, he says to them, dorchim ima oved gochavim begas. He was quoting our Mishnah, that you can do it. V'ha kam in nazech biyadei the tzayrin lahu liyadei. So they wait a second, but isn't he gonna go and take this wine and do yayin nezeh with his hands? So it's like, yeah, but like we cut his hands off. No, I don't know if that's what it says. We have to blind and see Rashi what it means. V'tzayre luhu liyadei. V'hakom enazech b'regel. So okay, fine. So you incapacitate his hands in some way. We'll see in Rashi exactly what that means. Tzayre, but can he do nezeh with his feet? Sometimes a yid can do things with his feet, and sometimes a guy can do things with his feet. So can he pick up this goblet or something with his feet and pour it out to his idolatrous friend? So his idolatrous idol, to his idol? So why you do it? So says the Gemara, Nisuch de regel lo shmei nisuch. Spilling from the foot is not considered, or pouring out to the idol with your foot is not considered pouring it out to the idol. Hahu uvda dehaba ben Naharda. So there was this case actually in Naharda in Babylon. The Daji Israel oved gochavim lahu chamra. So a yid and an idolater were pressing wine to this wine. Vishaya Shmuel. And Shmuel, who was a Tana, it was like the Maraz Asra and Narda. He was waiting, Plaza Wrigley. He waited, he waited 3 regalim. My time. So why did Shmuel have to wait? Tana de Azir Grebi Nazan Osrine Avilu Behana. So if you're gonna say that the reason that Shmuel waited for 3 regels in order to drink this wine, perhaps, So if it's because he held that if I find a Tana that makes it Azur, like Rabbi Nazan, Osrine, I will make it Azur. I feel behana, or make it Azur even enough. The Tanya, because it says in the Brisa, Madadu, Bain Miyad, Bain Berega, Yimkor. So if they measured it, whatever they're measuring, you need Rashi for context a little bit over here, but if they measured it, whether it was with the hand or with the foot, you can sell it. Rabbi Nazan says, Biyad is Asur, Berego is Mutter. With the hand is permissible, with the foot is, the hand is Asur, with the foot is permissible. So if you're going to say that's the reason that Shmuel waited 3 months, we have to see waited 3 months to do what? Like what? You have idolatrous wine, wait 3 months, then all of a sudden it's no longer idolatrous. Pour it out. Like what's going on? So Ema de Amar Rabbi Nazan biyad berego mi Amar. So say that Rabbi Nazan was talking about the hand, but the foot. Did he really say that? Ella maybe the reason that Shmuel waited, he's like, I can't paskin yet. I need to wait a long time before I paskin. Is because maybe I'll find a Tana that makes it mutter Rabbi Shimon Ishriya afilu b'shtia. I would make it permissible even to drink. Okay, so there was a few things in that Rashi that we weren't 100% sure. We weren't 100% sure about, but in that Gemara. But now let's see the Gemara with the Rashi. So it says that who Yanuka, this Yanuka, the Dana Avodas Gochavim B'Shit Shni. That he was this kid. He was teaching Maseches Avodah Zarah, and he was 6, right? 6 years. So I said maybe he was studying it for 6 years. Says Rashi, no. That's not what it means that he was studying it for 6 years. Ben Sheishanim. He was 6 years old. Can you imagine a 6-year-old that's teaching Avodah Zarah? Probably like the Gra or something. So they asked him, they said, can you stab with a guy and like on grapes? He's like, yeah, it's a fair Mishnah. What are you even asking? They said, but isn't he gonna menasech biyade? Isn't he gonna do nisuch chayayin? Isn't he, right? So this is what she says. He says, umishna achroina kitani. Right? And this is saying the Mishnah Achrona. Remember, Rav Huna said there was a Mishnah Rishona, Mishnah Achrona. We have to see what is he talking about, Mishnah Rishona, Mishnah Achrona. And our Mishnah is Mishnah Rishona. This is from Rav Huna, right? He says, but he's talking about the Mishnah Achrona Gedani. Chazru Lomar. They went back and they said to Ein Dorchin that you can't step according to Rav Huna, right? There's very like Rav Huna that this little kid he also like Rav Huna. To Mishihizgali Mashech, once it starts to trickle down, have a yain, it's already called wine. So they say, wait, but he's menazich with his hands, and the Gemara says the Tsaira Lahuliyade. And Rashi doesn't explain the Tsaira Lahuliyade. Tsaira. Let's see if there's Rabbeinu Chananel over here. Ahu Yanuka, he was 6 years old. Tana Varduv Bomi, they teach him how to draw him because Amalei eat Tsaira Yade. Shari, like so he says that Saire is you restricted his hands. We restricted his hands. We said, oh, you wanna work with the yids? You want a job stepping on Jewish wine? Okay, but we're gonna have to handcuff you behind your back. So they say, okay, but he's Nazir, right? Beragle with his feet. They say no, right? He's stepping in with his feet. He's gonna like pour a little bit to his idolatry. He's gonna have the intention. Say no. When he does it with his feet, it's not considered nisuch. And it says Ahu Uvda Dahava ben Arda. The same thing that's happened actually in Arda. The Israel and Agum, they stepped on the same wine together. V'shaya Shmuel Tlusa Wrigley says Rashi Klus Wrigley. Shayu mitkabts in the Shmoa Drasha Hilchos Bezach Bezach Hilchos Atzeres Ve'atzeres Hilchos Chag B'Chag. So we waited 3 regalim they would come to Shmuel, and here is Drasha on Pesach, Drasha on Shavuos, Drasha on Sukkot, and he didn't talk about it for 3 regalim. So it says, my time, why did he wait that long? Maybe he held that he was going to find the Tana to Asur. He's going to find an opinion of a Tana, right? Shmuel was an Amira. Shmuel is going to find a Tana that makes it Asur, like Rabbi Nazan. So what is it, like that? He makes it Asur, even Behana. That not only can you not drink it, but you can't even sell it. Maybe I'll find someone like that. Says Raji, Yain Behana, Bimago shall act over Gochavim. They touched that, right? It's Asur Behana with the touch of the idolater. Abba Bijalo Nischu Levar Gochavim. He touched it, but he didn't pour it out to the idolatry, but still, the nizuch lo havi Asur hana. Because when you're just spilling it out, really, it's not even Asur hana, ela ayidei shichshoch. It's only an Asur hana if you rub against it, or if you shake it. Because it says in the Brisa, Modadu, Bain Bayad, Bain Beregel. So what's Modadu? Okay. So it says in this Brisa that the guy is like is measuring out for the yid some wine, right? Bain Bayad, Sheikhnis Yado Vizoro Litocho, Lashar Kama Yayin Yeshbo. He puts his hand in to see how much wine there is, right? He puts his hand in the barrel and he's like, it's up to my shoulder, right? Kimosha Ozim Bikane. Like, yeah, sometimes they use a measuring stick. Nowadays we'll just use a stick, a ruler. But back in the day, he's like, how much is it up? It's up to my elbow. That's how high it is, right? So if a guy does this with his hand or with his foot, it could be sold. Meaning, what do you mean it could be sold? Meaning you can't drink it, but it's not Asur Behana. And Rabbi Nazan says, no. If he does it with his hand, Asur Behana. But with his foot, it's Mutter Behana. It says, Yimgo to Kevan Dolon is Chavin Lenezach. So if his intention was to spill it out for idolatry, then it becomes Asur Behana. If his intention wasn't, so it's still Asur because he touched it with his dirty Shagid's hands. But still, it's not an Isser Hana, right? And so we say Imur de Amar Rabbi Nazim biyad. Maybe he said it with his hand, but Beregel mi Amar. So Shmuel didn't know what to do. They stepped on it, but his hands were tied. So Rabbi Nazim says that with his hand, but with his regel mi Amar, with his foot. Who says? Didn't it say it in the Brisa? Bein biyad, bein beregel. And then Rabbi Nazim says biyad is asur, beregel would be mutter. So they said, oh no, Rabbi Nazim didn't say that. He only said the hand is asur, but we don't even know what he said about the foot, I guess. So Ella, so that can't be that. Shmuel was waiting to see if there's gonna maybe find an opinion that says that it's asur behana, right? And Rabbi Nazim says that by the hand becomes asur behana, but by the foot, no one says it's asur behana. So why is Shmuel waiting for so long?
Shmuel.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, first we got about 10 minutes, but second of all, didn't we already have a discussion about maybe like a month ago about whether wine is used for Avodah Zarah and whether or not it becomes assur behana or not?
Wine is definitely used for Avodah Zarah. They definitely use it. Maybe like it's Azur. It's Azur B'Hana. So here we're learning. I think this is the first time we're learning that it doesn't become Azur B'Hana if his intention wasn't for Nesach.
Right, but
Azur
did,
B'Shtia.
did we have
Yeah.
this conversation about a kli before, and then it talked about grapes?
Yo, is it possible that you're thinking about the Gemara about like the way that the Romans used to come to Israel was that they would have this broken shard
Maybe.
and they would throw it into water and like it would be like soaked in idolatrous wine. And so we said that is this shard permissible in Hana, or is the shard right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we're talking about. It's possible, but in this case, it can't be that Shmuel waited 3 months, like waited almost an entire year to paskin about this thing or to spill it out or to do what needed to be done with this thing. It can't be that he was waiting for. Maybe there's someone that would say that it's assur b'hana, like Rabbi Nazan assurs it in hana. And we bring this brisa. We say, wait a second, this brisa Rabbi Nazan assurs it b'hana, but he doesn't assur it b'hana if it touches the foot, only if it touches the hand. Only if he measures with his hand, but if he sticks his foot in there, if he sticks his foot in there, it's not assur b'hana. So it can't be that Shmuel was waiting for a Tana like Rabbi Nazan to see if it was assur b'hana, because even Rabbi Nazan doesn't say it's assur b'hana when it touches the foot. So rather, he's waiting for Rabbi Shimon, a Tana like Rabbi Shimon, Ishrei, that he says it's permissible even b'shtia. So what does Rabbi Shimon say? Rabbi Shimon says, wow. Everyone's so worried about Yayin Nesach, but according to Rabbi Shimon, unless he's actually spilling it over, unless he's actually spilling it for idolatry, it's mutter b'shtia. You can drink it. Dad, have you seen? Did you know about that shita? So we know that like if a guy touches our non-mevashal wine, it's assur yayin nesach. But actually, that's only one opinion. Rabbi Shimon holds that unless he touched it with the intent or he touched it and actually used it for idolatry, it's mutter b'shtia. Not only is it mutter b'hana, but it's mutter b'shtia according to Rabbi Shimon, and that's why Shmuel. Wait, yes.
Does the concept of intent? I never thought of the concept of intent by a guy. I always thought intent is something that it relates to a mitzvah, but I never understood the concept of intent.
So here we go.
Like, either the guy did it or didn't do it.
Right. Like what did the animal think? Did he think to do? Did he think to plow? Well, we don't paskin that it matters the guy's intent. We paskin that he touches the wine and it's assur, the idolater. But Rabbi Shimon holds that if that the idolater's intent matters, and if he just touches the wine, but he wasn't planning on spilling it out for idolatry, it's mutter. Now this might be Rabbi Shimon l'shitaso, because everyone knows. This is another classic example of. Everyone knows that if things are assur, comes Rabbi Shimon and says, no, it's mutter. By muksa, right? Rabbi Shimon says, unless the person's intent was to say, I'm not going to use this on Shabbos, and he puts it away, it doesn't become muksa. That's Rabbi Shimon. Everyone thinks, oh, you have muksa and you have non-muksa. Rabbi Shimon says, no, it's not the intent. Another thing that Rabbi Shimon, Bar Yochai, another thing he says is that a tattoo is only assur d'oraisa if it's letters. A picture is not assur. Yeah, because there's ksoves kakua. So this is just 3 random Rabbi Shimon halachas that I just had swimming around, or 2, and then we just learned the 3rd one. Rabbi Shimon is such a geshmaki yid. Okay.
So even though I have a Tweety bird, I can get buried in the Jewish cemetery, you're saying?
According to Rabbi Shimon.
Sky.
Sky Gods. Sky God, I never even seen that Tweety bird tattoo. I started to think where it was. So Lamaisa, Rabbi Shimon makes it mutter even b'shtia. So what does it mean? So Shmuel just waited 3 months, 3 regalim, but then what? What did he do in the end? He was waiting to see, maybe I'll find a Tana that asks it, maybe I'll find a Tana that permits it. And the Gemara just says, he was just waiting, but it doesn't actually say what ended up happening, which is sehr interessant. Okay. Hahu uvda dahava bebiram. So there was a Maisa that happened in the city of Biram. Dahu Omegolavim Dahava Kazalik Bedikla. He was going up a dikla. He was going up a palm tree. And so he was climbing up a dikla, right? Because idolater was climbing up a dikla. The icy lulavim, right? And he was bringing down some lulavs, you know. Behari dekad nachis, when he was coming down, naga berosha de luliva bechamra shalo bekavana. So he's coming down with a lulav from a palm tree, and as he's coming down, he accidentally touches some wine. He accidentally touches some wine with the tip of his dikla. No, the tip of his lulav. Right? What do you guys think? Oh, and we're back.
And we're back.
Yo, perfect timing. We just started. We're on Nun Zayin, Amud Aleph, and we just started a Maisa. So this guy climbed up 5 minutes. Perfect. A guy climbs up a dikla, and he climbs up this palm tree. And on his way down to get some lulavs, and on his way down, he touches with the tip of this lulav into some wine. Shari Rav Lizavune Rav's like, listen. Rav's like, listen, don't drink it. It's assur b'shtia, but it's mutar b'hana, right? It didn't have the intent to do idolatry with it, but still, Rav said it's assur, but you can sell it to an idolater. Amrule Rav Kahana, Rav Asi Rav. So Rav Kahana and Rav Asi were chavrusas in the base measures, maybe. And they're like discussing, like, wait a second, what did Rav just say? And they're like, Rebbe, we need to talk to you, Rav. He says, V'ha marhu de amar, isn't it you who said Tinok ben Yomohu, Oseyai Nezek, even a 1-day-old guy can make Yain Nezek? Amar lahu, so Rav says to Rav Kahana and Rav Asi, he says, Imur de Amri Ana B'shtia. No, I said he makes it assur b'shtia b'hana mi Amri. But in Hana, did I actually say that? So we see, right, because when he says that the Tino touches it, so we see that it doesn't need kavana. This exact sugi that you asked about is the exact sugi we were talking about. Shlegs, do we need kavana of the guy that is going to use it for idolatry to make it assur or not? And so Rav says l'chora, to make it assur b'hana, you need his intention, but to make it assur b'shtia, you don't. And they said, wait a second, you're saying that aren't you the one who said that a baby touches it? So you see that you don't need hana? And it's no, I meant assur b'shtia, but not assur b'hana because the baby doesn't have intent. And tomorrow we're gonna go and talk more about the Tinok ben Yomo. Today has been shear number 24 in a row. And tomorrow, Mir Tashem will be shear number 25. We have a minute for a song about why. If it's touched by a guy, it's assur every time. But according to some, it matters his intention, and only if he touches it does it get detention with the intent to use for idolatry. But either way, you can't drink the wine. If a guy comes down from a tree and accidentally touches some wine, you cannot drink it. But you can sell it and use it and sling it, according to Rav, because his intention is what matters. The guy's